In this episode of Falmouth in Focus, we check in with the Falmouth Health Department for the latest local information about the coronavirus outbreak, stop by a ribbon-cutting event in East Falmouth, and take a tour of the Science and Engineering Fair at Falmouth High School. All this and much more on this edition of Falmouth in Focus.
Hello and welcome to Falmouth in Focus, FCTV's current affairs program. I'm your host, Michael Kasparian. The threat of the coronavirus impacting Falmouth residents is very low at present. However, there are several precautions that every one of us can take to limit our exposure to this and other respiratory viruses. Scott McGann from the Falmouth Health Department fills us in.
My name is Scott McGann, and I'm your health agent here in Falmouth. Here today to talk to you a little bit about the flu season and coronavirus, also known as COVID-19. Probably have definitely heard on the news, COVID-19 originated in China. It's a new virus in the same family that a lot of the colds are. The coronavirus is a family of viruses. Again, it began in China. There's been about 80,000 cases. There's currently one case in Massachusetts, positive. There's one presumptive. There's none in Falmouth, and no reports as of today. Today is March 5th, here in Falmouth. There's also no vaccine available at this time. CDC and the World Health Organization and everybody is working on one, but currently there is none. So what are the symptoms of coronaviruses? Well, it's very flu-like. So the fever, the cough, shortness of breath, lung illness, breathing illness that you would have with the flu. The vast majority of people, if they do contract coronavirus, will live and recover with no problems. However, it is more difficult for the elderly or people with underlying, immune system problems that are related, and so it can affect those who are more vulnerable or elderly more than the general population. How is it spread? It's spread person to person through respiratory secretions, coughing, sneezing, much like your flu would be. From an infected individual to another individual. It also could be a surface contamination. Coronavirus can survive, like some of these other viruses, on a surface for an extended period of time. So it can persist. So somebody who is infected, they're touching something, you touch something, and that would be another way in which it could spread. So how do you prevent it? Well, first off, I would like to everybody that hasn't had a flu shot, they should get a flu shot. It's not effective against corona, however, flu is definitely more prevalent, and so let's just get that out there that we'd like to make sure everybody's set, especially if you're in that high-risk group or elderly, you should be obtaining a flu shot because that's where your risk is as of now. If you're sick, stay at home. That's a key, okay? So you definitely want to stay at home if you're sick. You want to frequently wash your hands whenever possible. You can use hand sanitizers as well if hand washing is not available. Always cover your mouth when you're coughing or sneezing. Clean surfaces like doorknobs, railings. You can use Lysol and Clorox. They are effective against these viruses. If you happen to be wanting to travel, you want to look at the CDC's website for the travel advisories if you are planning to travel out of the country. Just make sure that because that's an ever-changing, as cases come up and stuff in different parts of the world, you want to make sure you're looking at your travel arrangements, and there's different levels and travel advisories for different countries. As far as education, what do you do is if you want to learn more or stay up to date? Well, the news will definitely have it, but the two best websites are the CDC's website and the Mass Department of Public Health. Also at the town of Falmouth and our main page, and also on the Health Department page, we have linked those CDC website and the state's DPH website. That's going to have the most up-to-date information. The town manager, myself, police and fire and schools have met and will continue to meet to discuss the most recent information. Remember, we have other communicable diseases here in Falmouth, here in the world, and we already have a system in place for tracking and taking care of reporting and so forth of any communicable disease. If the hospital gets a suspect case, they contact the state, and also they put in the VNA in conjunction with myself, get involved with disease tracking and so forth. So if a case happened to have come up of any communicable disease, there's a system in place of finding the individuals, finding contacts, and so forth. So that system's already been in place. It's been in place forever because we've always had communicable diseases that we have to deal with. It might be salmonella or something of that effect. And this time, you know, the coronavirus would be no different in how we're going to manage it. The town is very well aware of it. I've been staying on top of all the newest information, and you know, that's how we will continue.
To keep up to date with the latest on the coronavirus outbreak, monitor the Health Department's page on the Falmouth Town website at falmouthmass.us. FCTV will also continue to pass along information about the virus as it receives it. Thanks to Jeff Wyman for that important information. It's time now for 3 Things from Town Hall, FCTV's condensed version of the takeaways from recent municipal meetings. Selections are chosen based on community impact.
During the last meeting of the Select Board, representatives from the Falmouth Firefighters Local 1397, Town Administration, and the Select Board met and signed a Memorandum of Understanding to keep the West Falmouth Fire Station staffed with voluntary overtime shifts starting July 1st of 2020. Firefighter Union President Michael Mueller presented at this meeting that of the union members' responses to a poll, 85% indicated willingness to work overtime at the West Falmouth Fire Station.
Mike Mueller, president of the Falmouth Firefighters Union. Prior to entering in this agreement, I polled our membership, and about 70% of our members responded to the poll that I put out, and that was probably about the amount of people that are regularly doing overtime, don't have another side job or other job that takes up their time. Of the 70% that replied, about 85% of them, so 85% of the 70%, said that they would be interested in working additional overtime shifts at the West Falmouth Fire Station.
The Select Board also discussed the Emerald House property at this meeting and potential uses for the building and property. The town owns the Emerald House property and the parcels 67 and 81 Davisville Road, though the property use is limited by zoning. However, some suggestions included creating a museum honoring the property's history, municipal use, and an all-inclusive playground and affordable housing.
I like the idea of the affordable housing. I want you guys to remember that that land does dive severely after the play space, which is why the final plan does not call for the swings in that area at all. The swings are being accommodated within the play space.
Next step on the Emerald House structure is an RFP. Next step on the master plan is to really take a hard look at access to the rear for affordable housing and what's the best way to do that.
Great, thank you.
The Select Board met with the Falmouth Finance Committee in a separate meeting from their regular Select Board meeting held on Monday night. The Fire Department's budget was on the agenda at this meeting. Also, the Finance Committee considered a 2.5% override for additional firefighters. After discussion of the budget, the Finance Committee recommended the spending increase to $7.7 million for the 2021 fiscal year. The Finance Committee will vote on the override proposal at its next meeting.
Let me say the assumptions that I made in looking at this budget, because there's been a lot in the press and a lot in other presentations, and the operating budget and the article all mixed together. So this operating budget that we're talking about and this $7.7 million that I moved is for 2 additional firefighters, and there's a funding line for 4 additional lieutenants, and there are 4 now, so we'll have 8 lieutenants when this is done, correct? Yes. And this will allow 14 minimum at the start of shift for the deployment of the firefighters, which conforms to the safety standard that we've established with 2 persons on each run.
To see the meetings in their entirety, check out Government Channel 15's program schedule at fctv.org. It's now time for our calendar segment. On March 10th at 7 p.m. at the Falmouth Public Library, Blackstone Valley Veggie Gardens will speak about companion planting and planting your vegetable garden. Registration is requested at falmouthpubliclibrary.org/events. On March 14th from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m., Good Grief Cape Cod presents Expressive Art Therapy Family Camp Day at the Seacrest Beach Hotel. The event will offer different ways to cope with a loss through drumming, Zumba, swimming, yoga, mindfulness, visual arts, and more. Reserve your free spot by emailing Amy at goodgriefcapecod.org. On March 19th at 12:30 p.m. at the Falmouth Jewish Congregation, Teresa Harmon will share information about her organization, To the Moon and Back, which is dedicated to providing support, education, and advocacy for the youngest victims of the opioid crisis. The event is free and open to the community. Here at Studio A at the Falmouth Community Media Center, join us for our open mic series, Poetic License, on Thursday, March 26th at 7 p.m. Stop by for another night of poetry and prose, stories and songs, with entertainment provided by you and your friends and neighbors. Sign up begins at 6:30 p.m. Check out fctv.org for more information. And finally, stop by the gallery at FCTV to view our latest show entitled Collaborations, featuring artwork created by students and instructors of the Cape Cod Collaborative Arts Network, better known as Cape Cod CAN. The show opens on March 8th with a reception on March 15th from 3 to 5 p.m. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll stop by the ribbon cutting ceremony for the new East Falmouth location of the Ark of Cape Cod. Stay with us.
When the old woman, Lois, answered the door, the first thing she said was, "Let me turn down my best friend." She was referring to the television set that was playing loudly across the room. As the director of Neighborhood Falmouth, I meet with all prospective members in their homes, and I was here to learn about her. I asked her how she thought Neighborhood Falmouth might help. She said, "I'm 84 years old. All of my friends are dead. I don't drive anymore. I barely go out. I'm so lonesome I could die." My breath caught, and I told her Neighborhood Falmouth could help. Neighborhood Falmouth is the terrific local organization that is helping seniors with transportation, light home maintenance, and social connection. Right now, there's a 6-month wait to become a member because we can only grow our membership when we enlist more volunteers. People like you who enjoy driving, making friends, and who believe in paying it forward. Call us to learn more about volunteering or membership, or visit our website at neighborhoodfalmouth.org. And thanks.
Welcome back. The Ark of Cape Cod's mission is to help people with intellectual and developmental disabilities achieve a higher quality of life and a sense of belonging within their community. With the opening of their new East Falmouth location, their service area has expanded into our own backyard. I was honored to represent the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce at the ribbon cutting ceremony last week.
The Ark of Plymouth and Upper Cape Cod supports people with disabilities and their families to belong, contribute, and thrive. We offer a number of different service options. We provide support to families around navigating the service system and to kids and adults around social recreation opportunities. We provide employment services for people with adults and community-based day supports for folks to have a meaningful day. That might include volunteering, but definitely giving back to the community.
So we were very fortunate to work with David Vieira in locating this space here in East Falmouth. Our goal here at our new building is to offer education and advocacy to families that are in the area. And we have staff that are here that are available to meet with families and provide them information. We are starting to do a community needs assessment to get a good idea of what the services and supports are that are needed for the community and for our families before we move on to identifying which hard services we'd like to offer.
So today's an exciting day to see the Ark of Greater Plymouth and Upper Cape Cod be located right here in East Falmouth. We're right on T-Ticket Highway, East Falmouth Highway. We have an opportunity now for all of the individual organizations that serve individuals with disabilities to have a satellite office right here in East Falmouth. So I'm excited to have a tenant in this building and also to be able to provide these services to the families most in need here in the Upper Cape.
We have an adult foster care program or family care program where people live with care providers in their home and receive support. We also have a shared living program and then an individual home support program where folks have their own apartment and we go in and tailor our services to meet their needs. It might be a little bit of help with banking, a little help with grocery shopping, whatever it is that they need.
I can say we're very excited to be partnering with different organizations in the community. The collaborations are key to the work that we do in the community, and we can't do this work alone, and so building those relationships in the community and being part of East Falmouth are really important to us.
For more information about the Arc of Cape Cod, visit their website at arcofcapecod.org. Thanks to Andrew Richards for that coverage. In this month's FCTV Member Spotlight, Allison Leshen takes us on a tour of the Coonamessett River Restoration Project and shows us the results of Phase 1 of that project.
Years ago, almost to the day, we celebrated the Phase 1 groundbreaking, and at that time, the announced goals were better habitat for commercially important fish species and other wildlife, a more resilient coastal valley that can absorb floodwaters and whose natural wetland community can bounce back from storm impacts, and a healthy, restored ecosystem with expanded opportunities for recreational and educational activities along the river's length. We've already seen these results in Phase 1 and look forward to continued success in Phase 2.
I got a tour of the site just this morning, and it really is just mind-boggling, super exciting, awesome project. So I really congratulate you for getting that first part of the project done and off to the second. So, our agency is really in charge of and responsible for ensuring the sustainability of commercial and recreationally important fish species. And removing dams, ensuring fish passage has really become an important tool for us to be able to do that. When you remove the dams, you get the fish upstream, they get to their spawning grounds, and you make more fish.
This project is an example of a nature-based solution to climate change, and it's an excellent example of the way in which habitat restoration like this also brings strong human and community benefits. We're getting natural, self-sustaining wetlands and a beautiful river. We're getting this incredible trail system, the opportunity to watch nature heal and become reborn over time.
And this spring we hosted 6 elementary classrooms, totaling over 400 students who come to experience the river in person. Working with the students has just been a wonderful way to expose the next generation to the value of nature and also to learn to cherish places like this. And we've discovered the teachers have really taken this project on, that they're finding it's an excellent way to teach children about animal life cycles, ecology, hydrology, the local cultural history, right here in our own backyard. Restoration of the Coonamessett River will continue to bring benefits to Falmouth for generations to come.
This has been an amazing community project. You can see the board, see how many organizations have been a part of it, have been dedicated to it, and that is such a Falmouth thing. We get things done when people from across the community come together and work towards a common goal.
Everyone being involved really makes a difference, really gets projects like this to the finish line.
When we think about federal partners, state partners, town, nonprofits, and the board here that shows all the partners, all the coordination and leadership, it's a huge win for Falmouth, it's a win for conservation.
Phase 2 of the restoration project began last fall. Thanks to FCTV member Allison Leshen for that story. We'll be back after a quick break to hear about an organization that works to connect, engage, and advance Cape Cod's young workforce and future leaders. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Cape Cod Young Professionals are celebrating their 15th year of helping to promote and connect young professionals living on the Cape. CEO Lauren Barker stopped by the FCTV studios to tell us how CCYP interacts with the Cape's young workforce and future leaders.
The CCYP was founded in 2005 right here on the Cape, and it's a very unique organization. There's really nothing like it, not on the Cape and not regionally. And in fact, we've struggled to find anything throughout the nation that is quite similar to it, because we do so much more than just your standard networking events that a young professionals group would do. So we offer lots of opportunities to build community, to get involved through civic engagement with your community, and also to advance your career here on Cape Cod. I think the biggest thing, and the thing that maybe falls by the wayside a lot when people are considering ways to attract and keep young people here, it's just the sense of community that CCYP's been able to build. So providing a venue, a place, whether that's a physical place or more just a sense of a community that's built in here that you can talk to and get support from and gain resources from, that is really the key accomplishment, I think, of CCYP. And then in recent years, we've really focused heavily, more and more, on the civic engagement piece and taking that community and really working to mobilize people to get them more directly involved in their community and have their voices heard, because the needs of the young workforce and our young professional community are sometimes different from what other populations on the Cape might need. But what we find is that they're often hard pressed to find the time and the resources to get their perspective out there. And so we try to be an advocate for them and empower people to get out and really share where they're coming from and what their needs are, and be active members in the community. And so I would say that those two things are really the big pieces that CCYP's been able to move forward. Coming up on April 9th here in Falmouth, we'll be at the Seacrest Beach Hotel, and it'll be our 5th annual event. So this event has really grown and evolved over the years, and we're really proud of where it's going. We are focusing a lot on the training and development opportunities, providing lots of soft skills and management style training, so things that you might not see other places, really trying to fill that niche and provide opportunities for people to not just grow their careers, but really grow professionally in a very well-rounded sort of way. So things like communication skills, how to be a better communicator in the workplace, or how to identify and promote your personal brand when you're out representing yourself in the community. So things like networking and your social presence online. So there's lots of different pieces and components to the event, and we're very excited to offer it again this year. We just hope people will come out and get involved, and I think the main thing to note is there's a lot of misconceptions maybe about who CCYP is and who we're for, and we like to say that CCYP works on behalf of our young workforce community, trying to promote opportunities for that group, but we need the whole community's input and involvement in order to make that possible. And when we support our young professionals and our young workers, the whole community thrives. So we just encourage everyone to come out and see what we're all about, get involved with us. We have volunteer opportunities, and so we hope to see you at an upcoming event or activity.
The 5th annual Shape Your Cape Summit will be held on April 9th at the Seacrest Beach Hotel. Visit CapeCodYoungProfessionals.org to learn more. Thanks to Alan Russell for that information. The Falmouth Science and Engineering Fair is one of the oldest continuously running science fairs in the country. Featuring students from grades K to 12, local scientists, and the Falmouth community, the Falmouth Science and Engineering Fair brings together the Falmouth community in a wonderful endeavor to learn from one another.
This is our 42nd annual Falmouth Public Schools Science and Engineering Fair. Every year we celebrate our rich scientific community here in Falmouth. It starts last night, actually Friday night, where our high school kids are judged, where they're being very fortunate to be judged not only by adults, but by adults who have vast experience in the scientific method and in practice and in engineering and in their subject matter. So the students get a lot of valuable critique from that. And a lot of those kids do go on to regional and state fairs, and a lot of that starts here. But this morning we have all the Lawrence Junior High kids here as well, where they're also being judged, getting ready, so to say, for the next level in the coming years. And we even have our K through 6 projects who are being judged more informally, where they're getting that experience of presenting their work and having to prove what they learned and talking about their setbacks and otherwise, and just becoming comfortable in presenting. We also have a lot of organizations that are here too, who are presenting, again, what they do in this town, the research and otherwise. Again, just celebrating the rich history of science and exploration we have here in Falmouth.
A lot of students have great projects. I like how they're relevant and real-world problems that they're interested in. I'd like to thank all the science teachers, the science community, volunteers, and our high school students that have helped out. We have high school students that have set up projects that our younger students can come by and learn from. So we have our students leading our students. Great opportunity for everyone.
I wanted to come and present because I thought my project was really cool and I wanted to show it to other people. I thought it was really cool.
I discovered that even doing a science project, even if it comes with interest and you learn about a lot about the project, you also end up learning a lot about yourself. I realized that I couldn't overwhelm myself with all of this information at once, so I decided to take it in chunks and work on each individual step at different times.
Thanks to Ryan Weber for that story. FCTV wants you to know that television can be as easy as hitting record on your smartphone. We'd like to invite all Falmouth residents and visitors to share their slice of life with us. Email us your photos and videos or upload them to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using the hashtag MyFalmouth or Falmouth in Focus to be featured on the show. Thank you to our most recent contributors. We leave you now with the sights and sounds from our recent Poetic License Open Mic Night at the Falmouth Community Media Center. Thank you for watching Falmouth in Focus. We'll see you next time.
Felony. Her lips are smushed on my shoulder asleep. Her lips are cold caves glinting with shadow. Her lips are holding the mumbles of dreams. Her lips are monarchs trembling with blow. Her lips are backpacks of knives and Red Bull. Her lips are apples clenched in the jaws of dogs. Her lips now click their trilled wings still. Her lips are hell's barter with bodegas. Her lips are saltines crumbled on sheets. Her lips are sweet. They part like paper boats. Her lips are wounded, stifling a scream. Her lips are begging for the burn of rope. Her lips are hashish, smoking in the dark. Her lips are storms pelting the old ark.